into Cowboys Rewind. I'm Dani Sureck. Dallas is coming off a 49-38 loss to Cleveland, in which the Cowboys defense completely fell apart. The Browns rushed for more than 300 yards, and that was without their star running back Nick Chubb, who left the game with a knee injury. Dallas became the first home team since 1979 to allow for 300 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, and 3 passing touchdowns. Through the first 4 games of the year, the Cowboys defense has struggled to stop the run and make tackles. They've allowed for the second most touchdowns in the league with 12. Defensive coordinator Mike Nolan says he's not taking the poor defensive performance lightly, and he'll continue to try to find ways to help the defense succeed.
I believe it all starts with the film. We watch the film together as a defense and, show the mistakes that we've made and how we can correct those. I believe that's where it starts as far as, you want to maintain, obviously, confidence in the things that you're doing. But along the way, you continue to adjust. Everyone does. Even the people who have their systems in place continue to tweak as the year goes along, whether it's because of your personnel or whether it's because of the opponents you face. But, you got to just stay the course and continue to work on the things we're, getting better at. And obviously it was disappointing, though, loss again yesterday.
Is there any element of having to sell it to your players even more, or is it just, look, we know what works here, we're into this, all we can do is just keep kind of plugging ahead and it'll get better?
Well, I'd say this. I think it's important that you do not take it, I'm talking about coaching-wise, that you don't take it lightly when you don't perform well, and it's important that you have illustrations of what you mean to the players when you want to continue to install faith in what you're doing and things like that. So that's what the film does a lot of times is you're saying, look at this is point out how we did it incorrectly when it didn't work. And then there's always times on the film that you can point out when it was correct and how it's effective. I think that's the same in any scheme. Matter of fact, I know that's the same in any scheme. Because I do believe it's very important that you continue to stress those things to maintain confidence in the things you're doing.
The problems on the ground, the problem with the run defense, the tackling, was any of those effort issues or just guys not being in the right place and not playing with confidence?
I wouldn't say, look, there's been no effort issues in my opinion. I think the effort's been good. The issue that we had yesterday was more technique-wise in my opinion. And when one technique breaks down for one player, obviously it affects another player next to him. And we did not, we didn't play very well, obviously. I'm not skirting the issue at all. We played very poorly. That's just, I hope we don't have to live through another one of those. But if we don't get things corrected, it could happen. But I believe that we'll get those things corrected. The guys will see the urgency in what we're doing, and we'll bounce back.
Was there urgency on the 50-yard touchdown reverse, the pursuit? Was there urgency on that pursuit? How do you explain that?
I thought the urgency, because I went back and looked at it, because I had heard some people say before I saw the film after the game, that there was a lack of a little bit. I don't believe there was a lack of pursuit at all. I do believe the pursuit angles for a couple people were a little suspect, that they overran or underran the ball carrier, but they were running, with full intent to get there. So I didn't see it as again, it wasn't an effort issue. I thought it was much more of a path to the ball carrier, which some guys will try to overrun thinking they're going to get outrun, and some guys underran the thing. But that was more of an issue of path to the ball carrier.
The Cowboys will face one of the worst offenses in the league in the New York Giants this week. New York has put up the fewest passing touchdowns with just 2, the fewest rushing touchdowns with 1, and the second fewest rushing yards with just more than 300. That's in large part to being without their star running back Saquon Barkley, who's out for the year with an ACL injury. Don't go anywhere. Right after this, we head into the film room for a closer look at what went wrong for the Cowboys defense last week and what they can expect to see from this Giants offensive line.
Cowboys Rewind is brought to you by AT&T Academy, the official sporting goods retailer of the Dallas Cowboys, and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' film and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Cowboys defense has yet to play in sync through the first 4 games this year. They've allowed for 690 rushing yards, the second most in the league, half of which came against the Browns last week alone. Kyle Yeomans and Isaiah Stanback head into the film room to take a closer look at where the Cowboys defense fell flat last week and what they can expect to go up against the Giants offensive line this week.
How's it going, everybody? It's another edition of the Film Room presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Kyle Yeomans, joined by Isaiah Stanback. And Isaiah, really, it was a rough week for the Cowboys defensively. 307 yards given up to the Cleveland Browns. What went wrong on that side of the football?
Well, we talked about it last week, right, in the film room. And this defensive line has to play better. They have to establish a line of scrimmage, which they did not do this previous week, as we tried to warn them. But take a look right here. We got our boys up here. We have Lawrence, we have Hill, we have Poe, and we have Alden Smith, right? And we obviously have Smith and Thomas right here on the second level. Listen, watch the Cleveland offensive line establish the line of scrimmage and pretty much have their way with our guys. Boom, stopper right here. You guys see these guys are getting kicked out. We got Alden Smith getting kicked out. We have Poe getting kicked out. Thomas is getting washed. Only person that's really free right now is Jalen Smith, and he's scraping over the top, and he doesn't get off the block soon enough. Even our secondary is getting blocked. Oh, my goodness. Guys are just getting thrown all over the place right now, and this is something that we cannot allow, and they had their way, like you mentioned, 300 yards rushing. Here it goes again. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, whenever you look at this side of the football, when you look to the left of the offensive line, the right of your defense, the fact that you have 3 players really stacked up on each other, that's not what you want to see in run defense at any point in the game.
No, not at any point, right? And not only are we not even establishing the line of scrimmage, we're not getting any push. So as you see, everybody's lined up. You have Lawrence on the back end, right? We got Hill right here. We have Poe. These guys are literally going to get consumed on one side. Let's go ahead and watch it play. Boom, pause it right there. These guys have all gotten reach. Every single one of these guys has a man on them. He's free backside, but he doesn't have a chance. He's blocked up. Woods backside. He's blocked up. We got Poe getting kicked out. Thomas has a man on him. Alden Smith has a man on him, and he is getting disrespected, and he shouldn't even be on the film right now.
Yeah, that's Daryl Worley back in the back, but I think you have to look at Jalen Smith. Whenever we reverse it back, you see the way he's able to scrape over
top.
You can't do that, and it really, Tristan Hill got caught up in the mix there as well.
Yeah, it's just not good. And then you have your 2 safeties right here, diving, missing tackles, something that can't happen.
Daryl Worley ended up with the tackle. It was a 21-yard gain for Nick Chubb on that play. But whenever you have the New York Giants coming in and we're heading into week 5, yeah, you're a little pumped about that for a good reason. Yeah. This might be an opportunity for the defense to get back on track.
Absolutely. There's new life, right? There's new life. We just got disrespected by the Browns, but guess what? The Giants are coming home, so we have a great opportunity to go out here and establish the line of scrimmage. I'm excited for the opportunities because this team is not very good up front, and you guys are going to see a perfect example right here. Here goes the Rams playing against the Giants. Obviously, we have big old Brocker right here, and he's going to go to work right here in the middle, number 90. You guys see him scraping over the top, and he's going to get off. He's going to get off the block and finish it off with a nice sack right here. Obviously, these guys didn't stop coming, but what you guys see in here is a lack of execution on the offensive line. I want everybody to watch Big 70 right here. Goodness gracious. These guys are just lost. Hands on, eyes got consumed, tossed around. Look at them, just lost right here. And these guys will continue to play up front. 75 has his back turned as an offensive lineman, something you should never do. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for D-Law, Hill, Griffin, all these guys to really have a coming out party against the Giants. Let's get this thing going.
The Cowboys need to turn things around, not just from a confidence standpoint. This is their first divisional game of the year. Philadelphia currently sits atop the NFC East with a 1-2-1 record, so a win for the Cowboys helps them with that long-term goal of making a push for the playoffs. Facing the 0-4 Giants might be their best bet to turn things around. New York has just over 1,100 total offensive yards. The Cowboys almost double that. On the other side of the break, running back Ezekiel Elliott shares how he gets past an ugly loss and refocuses for the next week. Don't go anywhere.
Here's Elliott looking to get the run game going for Dallas. Good cut. Elliott across the 45, and the ball comes loose at the end. I did not hear a whistle. Cleveland says they have it, and they do.
Running back Ezekiel Elliott recorded his 3rd fumble of the season in last Sunday's game. Elliott says this is as close to the most frustrated he's been as a professional athlete and understands he has to do a better job protecting the ball. Elliott joined Brad Sham and Taylor Sturm on this week's Cowboys Hour podcast, where he shared his process for mentally overcoming a poor performance and refocusing for what's ahead.
You are qualified to say what works for you to put it away. How have you learned to take a game you didn't like and put it away?
It's hard. It's really hard. You really you really don't get a chance to put it away until you play that game the next week and get to redeem yourself. So I mean, it's kind of something you gotta struggle with all week, and but somehow you gotta kind of try to put it behind and get ready for next week.
Do you find yourself consciously thinking, like, on Wednesday you're off tomorrow? So when you come back in on Wednesday and you're going through your walkthrough, and are you trying to tell yourself, it's the Giants now, it's not Cleveland anymore, or do the rhythms come a little more naturally after all this time?
It comes more naturally. Normally we come in a day like today. We had a work day. We came in, we cleaned up the film, and so now we're on to the Giants. Tomorrow I'll start studying them, and I mean it's tough though. It's tough, not to play well the week before, and then kind of you got to wait a whole nother week until you get your next shot.
What's the toughest part, Zeke? Obviously, I've never played football, so I don't understand exactly. I know the emotions of it, but what's running through your mind? Is it like one play, or is it just the general team loss, or how do you describe that?
I wouldn't say it's one play. I'd probably just say like it's the general team loss, for sure. And then physically, just feeling like crap and then not really having anything to show for it.
That is true, because when you get the win, it's a great deodorant, as Brand Broaddus always says.
You're going to hurt anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that's why receivers always say, and this is a part of the game into which Zeke has been very much incorporated. They're going to hit you. You may as well catch the ball.
Yeah.
You may as well get the yards. There's an interesting phenomenon, though, about the way in the Atlanta game and this one, to get that far behind and to still keep coming back. That's not even supposed to happen. I was just looking at some of the tape, and I forgot because it just happens in the moment. It was 41-14 in the fourth quarter, and you made it a 3-point game. How do you even do that?
I would say, one, it starts with our leader. It starts with Dak. He makes it easy on us. If you ask him, he's never out of the game, and it forces you, you know what I mean, to play that way also. And it gives, and you see all the firepower we have. The fact that we could even come back from such a deficit just shows, the potential of this team. But, we're right in the thick of it right now. We got to find out real soon how to turn this thing around.
Yeah, firepower. I was trying to think, did Zeke score yesterday? Because he scored so many times in the first 3 games, but then you have so many guys, Tony Pollard, what do you think of these offensive weapons? Is it fun?
It's definitely fun. It's fun to see what we can do when we start getting rolling, and then just how we can spread the ball around, and it's all it takes is a couple guys to have a good day.
Tune into Cowboys Hour Monday nights at 7 on 105.3 The Fan and DallasCowboys.com. Elliott and company are going up against a familiar face this week. Jason Garrett, who spent the last decade as the Cowboys head coach and is now the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. After this, we hear from players on the feelings they have behind going up against a coach who had a hand in drafting and signing so many of them to this roster. Stay with us. Welcome back to Cowboys Rewind. The Cowboys will see a familiar face at AT&T Stadium, only this time he'll be on the other side of the field. Former Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett is now the offensive coordinator for the 0-4 New York Giants. During his tenure with the Cowboys, Garrett had his hand in many draft picks and acquisitions for players still on this roster, including quarterback Dak Prescott, safety Xavier Woods, and guard Zach Martin. Let's hear from them on their thoughts behind playing a coach they spent so many years playing for.
Yeah, I've got nothing but respect for Coach Garrett. Obviously, drafted me, allowing me to come into this organization, bring me into this organization, helped me develop from under the center. I'll never forget all the many practices at OTAs and mini camps of him just continuing to get on me, putting in my air, get back and get away from center to all of our games, you know, throwing after practice that everybody got to witness. Nothing but respect for Coach Garrett, and it'll be great to see him, but I think you said it best. This is about getting a win. I can compartmentalize. If I see him before the game, it'll be cool. It'll be a quick hello. I'm sure after the game will probably be a little bit more extensive talk. But, yeah, I mean, the moment, the minute the whistle blows, first minute of that game, that's all my focus. And so I'm just excited to get out there, get back in AT&T, and put a different result out there and get a win for this team. So
we have fun, man. We have fun. Things don't always go as expected, but nevertheless, we have fun. I appreciate him as a coach. I appreciate him for drafting me, and man, I love that guy just for what he's done and what he's done for me and this team.
I think it will be a little strange see him in the royal blue instead of the navy, but again, you know, although those guys have coached us and it's great to see them, we're not focused on that. We're focused on getting a divisional win. And then, you know, we'll see him after the game.
Cowboys players expressed their gratitude and best wishes for Garrett moving forward, as well as for their former offensive line coach Mark Colombo, who's also now with the Giants. However, right now the focus for this Cowboys team is getting a win and turning things around for a 1-3 team. Don't go anywhere. Cowboys Rewind continues after this. The 1-3 Cowboys will face the 0-4 Giants for the Cowboys' first divisional game of the year. The NFC East has been by far the worst performing division in the league. Philadelphia sits atop with a 1-2-1 record, making this game between the Cowboys and Giants all the more important for Dallas's hope to make the playoffs. Let's hear from the Hanging with the Boys podcast this week on what you can expect to see from these two teams who need this divisional win.
We've always seen it. It's no matter what the records are, one person can be really good or really bad. When they get together, it's usually at the onstart, you know, a tough game, and then sometimes it gets blown open at some point in time in the game. So I expect that early on, that it's going to be a little nip and tuck, you know, to go early on. But when you look at what this Giant team is defensively, they have a new coaching staff like us. They're less. If we're just going on names, they have less names as far as talent than we do on defense. They give up a lot of yards. And for what we're doing right now offensively, we should be able to go and attack this team because we know what they're going to do offensively. We know they're going to be very vanilla. They're not going to be very explosive. They don't have Saquon Barkley. So we know what they are offensively because we were that for the last 10 years. We have to just come out and, to Nate's point, alleviate the mistakes. And I mean the penalties, the pre-snap penalties, the holdings. I mean turning the ball overs. There shouldn't be a fumble in this game from our quarterback, our running backs, or our receivers. Like, that should be an emphasis that you put to work this week in practice. But if we just come out and play, like even if our defense continues to be as bad as they are, offensively, if we don't turn the ball over, we can beat this team. And we should beat this team.
And I'm going to tell you something, man. How can they keep you out of the end zone? I'm being honest. Tell me, how can they keep the Dallas Cowboys? Oh, Dak. I see it with quarterbacks. They make up in their mind, I ain't taking a sack. I remember we was getting ready to play the Philadelphia Eagles. They had just obliterated us 2 or 3 games before with 11 sacks and 100,000 hits. Coach Johnson came in and he looked at Troy and said, we're not taking no more sacks. He looked at offensive line and said, we're not taking no more sacks. Well, it wasn't Troy, it was another quarterback. I can't think of the kid's name, great quarterback. And he said, get
great quarterback. Don't know the kid's name.
Can't remember his name. He came from Notre Dame. And he played for the Panthers. He came from Notre Dame, played for the Panthers. But anyway, he said, get rid of the ball. We're not holding the ball. Now, the offensive line coach was mad and the offensive coordinator was mad. But guess what? We only gave it 1 sack. I gave it that sack, but we only gave it 1 sack. And we had no hits. And we won the game. That's because the quarterback decided that he wasn't giving up sacks. I see quarterbacks do it all the time. Don't give up a sack.
You can listen live to the Hanging with the Boys podcast weekdays at 12:30 on DallasCowboys.com. Cowboys and the Giants face off Sunday afternoon at 3:25 p.m. at AT&T Stadium. Be sure to tune into Cowboys pregame live before that at 2 p.m. on all social platforms. That'll get you caught up on the team's news from this week and make sure you're fully ready to go in the know come game time. Thanks so much for watching Cowboys Rewind. I'm Dani Sureck. I'll see you next time.
Cowboys Rewind was brought to you by AT&T. SWBC Mortgage, financial solutions to help you meet your personal and business goals. Visit swbc.com. And by the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. Want to tour AT&T Stadium? For more information, call 817-892-TOUR or visit dallascowboys.com/tours.